So people who haven't, I'm sure there's not very many who haven't seen your Instagram should really see your Instagram, which by the way, Justin has changed the name, which I didn't know. When I went on, it's like, oh, this is a different name.
Yes.
And
I you want to talk, you say your thing first and then I'll
no,
talk
no,
about it. Well,
well,
basically it's I'm gay for Justin, which is a throwback to the Gay Men Channel days, which is, precursor to the Queer Network, which is precursor to Eddie and I working together. I had a podcast or I had a vlog series called Gay for Justin. And I would have loved it to just be Gay for Justin, but that wasn't available on all the platforms. And so Nikita and I were like, what else could work? And she was the one that was like, what about I'm gay for Justin? Like, as in, that's what people can say. And I'm like, work, that's it. And it was available everywhere. So,
yeah. Shit, I was gonna say something about that before.
well, something about my Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I'm gonna say that, but just what did you say? No,
And I have actually a tank top still from when I had merch at one point,
right.
and it says gay for Justin on it. And I wore it at the bar the other day, and everybody was like, oh, love your shirt. Can I have one? I'm like, it's a one of a kind, only one of them.
Well, you should make them, and you can
In
sell
fact, I
them.
should now.
The point I wanted to make
Mm.
was Justin is very 95% of the time, you are very different on this podcast
Oh, in visual.
than a lot of stuff you do and you post on Instagram. It's almost like a different person. And when I see it, it's like, oh my God. Like it's so the Justin that I'm not used to. It's like, you know how I would describe it? I would describe it, it's like it's the New York Justin.
Yes.
Um it's the almost the non-binary Justin,
Uh-huh.
which is,
A little more fluid.
a little more fluid. It's a lot more like the way you dress and the way
Mhm.
you portray or carry yourself. It's complete. That's why this is just a very like boy next door Justin most of the time
Which
what
is
we hear.
just basic Justin. Like it's like you're getting Justin in his room, like because this is my room.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So what would you say this is going to be all about you today
work.
because I'm gay for Justin.
Well,
Uh
that I was just gonna say.
so uh, what is the now I know you're going to say it's both. It's all of it. But what would
Mhm.
you say is the what is more you? The you that we see here or the you that we see on Instagram? Like how would you describe this? It's quite I don't know if the right word is disparity, but it's very, very different. And I hope this like
Yeah,
prompts people to go, go onto your Instagram to see
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
talking about, especially, the one where you had the crop top knit thing and your purse and the whole thing, and you had it all laid
yeah,
on your bed, and then you
yeah,
were, So
yeah.
how would you like talk
I
about that?
mean, I would say that this version of me that you often see in these moments is like I haven't like put anything I haven't put any of my drag on. I haven't put like if you believe that like we're all born naked and the rest is drag, like you get to see me in a pretty like bare bones, like just Justin at home. Like I'm not putting any specific outfit on. I'm just pretty laid back, like pretty chill. And I feel like when I leave the apartment, I typically, not always, but most of the time I've chosen to wear something that I really want to wear, like that makes me feel something a certain way. And I think that the Instagram reflects more of that than it does just like this version of me. And I do think they're both the same person, but this version is more like the at home version of me, like that is just boy next door, because that's I don't know, I don't have my contacts on usually. I don't I haven't put a look on or anything. And yeah, does that help?
A little bit. You didn't quite answer the question.
What's
Uh,
the question?
well, the question was like, what is kind of more you? Like, how do you, first of all, what are you most comfortable with? What do you, because I would say the Instagram side, because I mean, this is a good way to put it now. This is like the Instagram side. This is like your podcast side.
Yeah.
And or the Instagram side is more the, okay, you described it like the going outside, going out. But I would say you're a little more effeminate on the Instagram side and the going out, like just the way you dress, you know?
Yeah. Depends on what I'm going to do. But yeah, like for example, going to that show, we went to see Cats. Like it was there's an which is anybody's in New York, like I can't stress it enough. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen on stage. But I think that's also because it's a reinvention of Cats as a voguing ball,
Mm.
like ball culture from the underground scene in the 80s in New York City. Like
Well, it's very
with
different because the Cats original was, I mean, I saw that
oh
100 years ago.
and it
Yeah.
was so popular and everybody loved it. And like, they've done versions of Cats again, but never as all characters in a ball. And that like old Deuteronomy is like the one who calls the ball. And like it's just it
Like,
almost it makes it make
Pose,
more
right?
sense. Pardon me?
Kind of like
Yeah,
Pose.
yes, exactly. And it makes it even more relatable because they're not cats anymore. And yet they're doing everything that cats would. They're still cats, but they're not dressed like cats. They're dressed, and yet sometimes they are sort of dressed like cats. Anyways, it's fantastic. When we went to the show, I was like, well, I want to put a look on as if I'm going to a ball. So to me, it depends where I'm going, that I'm going to perhaps tap into more of my feminine energy. Um, Whereas at home, I mean, this version, I mean, it takes work to put that together. So, like you're seeing, I don't think one's more me than the other, but certainly one is something that people see more because they only see me out. Whereas like podcast version of me is at home.
What would you say to people who are kind of maybe afraid to express themselves or who they really are, or, you know, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like
Yeah,
because it is. I
yeah,
mean, again, I know you both ways, but I really only know you more this way.
yeah. I feel like I would say in the last couple times that we've hung out in person, mostly in Puerto Vallarta, you've gotten to see pieces of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the last time you really noticed, like, oh, this is how Justin will show up if he wants to. But also you saw me in your apartment,
Yeah.
pretty bare, like not just like pull everything else away, like really like the naked version. Like because
Right.
like I really believe like we're all born naked, and like anything we just put on as a part of how we want to express ourselves is our drag in the way that a drag queen transforms.
But this is my point. I think most people uh are too self-conscious or afraid to be something out of the norm, even if
Right.
they want to be. So yeah,
So,
that statement can apply, but it doesn't. It's like it would be great if people really actually live that, but most people don't.
yeah, well, I think people are living it. They're just like confined to what they think is expected of them in society to show up the way people think they're supposed to show up. So their drag that they put on is very basic, like very basic, because then they don't stand out or they don't get ridiculed or whatever it is that makes them feel more comfortable, because standing out and somebody not enjoying it or making a spectacle of them or embarrassing them will be worse than just like blending in. And I think my advice then is if you feel like you're not, because some people like they just want their basic outfit. Like I don't blame somebody if all they want to wear ever is a jeans and t-shirt.
Mhm.
Like because if that's the way, if you just like that clean minimalist, like that's all you feel good in, or you just love that, go for it. But I would say for those that want to be more expressive or just play with it more, what's really helped me is having friends who encourage it, like being around people who also want to play a little bit, and you kind of get their feedback, but then you also learn that like what they think actually also doesn't even matter. It really has to come back to how I feel. Like I'll ask Nikita for advice for sure sometimes, and I will take that into consideration. But more and more and more, as I feel more confident in expressing what I want to express, I'll just go with my own impulse. Like I'll start with something and then let it evolve. And if I want somebody's opinion, great. If not, but that's like, we always say this, that's a muscle that you build over time. And you can't start with like the whole thing. Just like start with one item that you want to have more fun with. Like maybe instead of wearing shorts, you want to wear different kinds of shorts.
Yeah. Well,
Start there.
let me give you an example. But first, I want to say that sort of the summary of all that is just is wear whatever you're comfortable with. And
Yes.
and if you do want to um yeah, if you do want to go outside of the norm, then as you said, just do it in small steps and see how it
Yeah.
feels. But an example of what you said about, maybe being influenced by friends or start with something. The last time you came to Puerto Vallarta, we bought those. What do you even call that? Those. It was
Oh, the
the
necklaces.
no.
No.
The cover up thing.
Oh, the sarongs.
The
Yeah.
sarong, right? Which
Yeah.
I would never wear, and I haven't worn it since.
There
You
you
know,
go.
because I'm just not to do it by myself. I'm just not
Hmm.
comfortable because
Yeah.
even though there's a part of me that would love to do that and dress up and whatever, I'm just not comfortable doing it. Like when you come back,
Yeah, of course.
I'll do it, but I'm not comfortable doing it on my own.
Hmm.
But I bought it because you were a little bit of an influence and I really liked it. It felt great. And it was like, okay, this is a part of me that I have never let come out, you know?
Exactly. And
So
that's it can be something that emerges. It doesn't have to like leap to the surface. Like
yeah.
even I in this process of letting myself express more femininely have like swayed back and forth. Like there are times when I really am like pushing into a gender fluid situation, and then there are other times when I'm like, oh, actually, I I still like like a more masculine presenting me at also. So like even the look that you talked about that I just wore to cats, like there was something about also still showing a lot of my like body frame that was going to keep it masculine, but also I'm wearing like shorts that almost look like a skirt.
Mhm.
And so it sort of it does mix the two, but like I'm still present like the haircut, the way it was styled, it still is masculine. It's a it's a male body underneath there. But
You do, but for me personally, like that, hang on. That part I didn't even notice. I
mhm,
just noticed what you were wearing. So I just noticed the more feminine part.
yeah.
So you say that for you, but some people might not even know.
Oh, other people are going to interpret it in their own way, but that's to my other point. Like that was for me how I felt. And so that to me at the end of the day has to be the most important thing. Like how other people interpret you will always be their own prerogative. Like and if we worry so much about that, or if we spend a lot of our time thinking about what somebody's going to think, it will probably deter you from just following whatever impulse you had. Because even the sarong that I bought with you, there are days when I'm like, I like the flow of it, but like it's too feminine for me today. I don't need a butterfly on my back, Whereas other days, I'm like, no, this is absolutely perfect. Like this is the exactly what I want today.
Yeah. I mean, and again, this is a not an uncommon thing.
Right.
Is that, you know, most people are concerned about what other people are going to think, what
Totally.
what they're going to say. And that is a huge thing. If you can get over that, then it's
Mhm.
very, very freeing.
And where you live makes a difference
I
because
was
like
going to say that
you're in
too.
Puerto Vallarta, for sure you could wear more provocative things and not as many people are going to notice. Or well, maybe not. Maybe Toronto and Puerto Vallarta aren't that different
No,
compared
no,
to where I live.
yeah, no, Toronto, you couldn't. I mean, you would. It's not the same anymore. It is. You could wear whatever, but it's not the same as New York.
New York,
Or
literally, you will have someone else wearing something else weirder than you for sure.
it's expected there.
Yeah.
And in Puerto Vallarta, I mean, in season, yes, but
Okay.
in season, what's in is nothing. People wear practically nothing.
Literally.
So that's how it is there. But anyway,
This is
so
it.
what's the conclusion of this?
Well, I mean, it was a beautiful introduction for you to reference the changing of my name on Instagram, uh, which is now I'm gay for Justin. I hope you're all gay for Justin. Um, check it out. And then we went into a lovely conversation about like how I present differently on Instagram as I do in these podcasts with you, and that essentially like my homebody version of me is what we see more here because I'm in my room. This is just we log on and we have a chat like we always have. Whereas Instagram is a little more like I've chosen to wear this because this makes me feel a certain way. And that is a choice that I make every day.
Right.
So,
And to
yeah.
sum all that up is that, wear wear and be what makes you feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also, you know, if you really feel like it, step out of your comfort zone a little bit and a
Exactly.
little bit at a time. So that's what we talked about that in
Mm-hmm.
this episode.
You
And
don't have to go zero to hero. We talk about this all the time
no,
on the pod. It can be
yeah.
one small thing. And I like that you mentioned the word comfortable
Mhm.
because I think sometimes when we talk about transformation and growth, it's all about like get yourself in uncomfortable situations. I'm all for pushing yourself. Like that's a good thing to do. But there are days, just listen to yourself in the day that you're in. Is today the day that I want to push myself, or is today the day that I just want to wear jeans and t-shirt and not blend and just blend in?
At the same time, saying that is try not to be, because it's an affliction that most of us have, try not to be so worried about what people are going to think or what people are going to say.
Because they'll always have something to say. What matters more is how you feel. And
Yeah.
if wearing a flowy thing makes you feel fucking fabulous, then find a way to wear something flowy and feel good at the same time,
Yeah.
as an example.
Anyway, that's what this episode was and is about. So we hope you watch and thanks for
And
watching, and
yeah, and if you need some music while you flow in your day, you can always listen to The Feeling of Falling.
which we talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
Justin's
Yes.
inaugural album that he
Yes.
created, which is amazing. So,
Thank you.
all right.
All right, y'all.
See ya. Love you.
Peace. Love
Bye.
you.
It's impossible for you to say something in like 30 seconds.
Oh no, it's not. It's
Girl,
not.
you just, I'm like, no, give me the shortened
Give
version.
you the meat.
Justin cannot do that.
It is always going to be meat with some loin and some fat and some tissue.
Oh, Jesus.